Okay, so I'm going on and doing this live just because I can record it here, save it, and then put it on my YouTube channel. But I just wanted to come on here and speak a little bit about a lot of things that are happening in the spiritual community right now, especially when it comes to this a lot younger generation. I guess you would call them Gen Z, and everything that I'm seeing when it comes to these like new age spiritualists who are constantly manifesting and talking about astrology and using terms like being in alignment and soul contracts, and there is all kinds of validity to everything that they're saying. But what I'm really seeing now is that a lot of these so-called manifestors and I guess like spiritual gurus are trying to pass themselves off as witches. And there's a huge difference between a manifester and a witch. And yes, of course, they both do the same thing, manifesting something. Although when it comes to witchcraft, being a witch, and I can say, well, a lot of people are like, well, who are you to tell me anything? Who are you to tell anybody anything about what it is to be a witch? I'm a witch. I can say what I need to say. I am an actual practicing witch. I don't need this to like fall over. Right? And I do a lot more than just vision boards or journal manifesting, or which a lot of the things that they are trying to promote and teach are actually just universal laws. And universal laws have been around forever. And I get it. This like newer people are just finding this information out and really honing in on that craft and really making some kind of business out of it, which is wonderful. My only issue is when you try to create an aesthetic and call yourself a witch. And according to them, I guess more so according to the way they portray themselves, it's like everything is so happy, and that's kind of like the goal or the intent is to really be happy and just, I don't know, use whatever they learned on YouTube and TikTok to create this whole generation of New Agers, which this has happened before. This happened in the 60s with the whole New Age movement, you know what I mean? Like, so, but there's a huge difference between being a so-called manifester and a witch. And when it comes to witchcraft, there is definitely a lot of spirituality tied to it, although that doesn't necessarily make you a witch. Okay? Witchcraft, in my experience, I don't want to say opinion, I want to say experience, because I have experienced life as a witch for many, many years. And the initial point of me practicing, and I think a lot of other witches, is to gain something, you know, to gain some kind of power over something, some kind of power over an aspect of your life, to create change, to better something, to make something happen, right? Initially, that's kind of what we go in this field for. And when I was younger, it was mainly for self-empowerment, to feel like I could do things, because at a point when I was a child, I felt very powerless and like I had no other support system. But the more and more you practice, the more and more you practice magic and work with these energies, you start to realize that the superficial things that you've wanted to achieve or to gain aren't necessarily the point of why you're practicing. And another difference between witches and manifestors is that most of us at some point or another will have to go through some kind of trance work or altered states of consciousness. And sometimes that is not the most healthiest route to go for some people, because a lot of times there's the utilization of hallucinogenic drugs, or some kind of altered state achieved through ceremony, which you don't really see or hear manifestors talking about. A lot of what I hear them talking about is the use of astrology, which is a science all on its own, and a very valid science. And they also utilize almost the same kind of concept as, remember that book, The Secret? You know what I mean? So they're kind of utilizing that aspect of universal law to manifest change and make things happen, which is good, and they're right, and there's validity in that. But to use a certain aesthetic to market yourself or promote yourself as a witch is kind of charlatan-like. There is one girl that I follow, I started following recently on here on Instagram, and she calls herself a witch. And so I kind of I started following her. I thought what I thought was that I was going to see is not what was being portrayed. There is never any talk of any magic, and she has like these coaching classes and seminars that you attend and workshops, and it's pretty much just psychology, really, and how to kind of if you want to achieve something in life, you got to make sure that you are in alignment with that. And what that really means is, say for instance, you want a specific career, right? Everything else in your life has to kind of match what it takes to achieve and have that career. Okay, so schooling or whatever, whatever it is that you need to do in the real world, in the material world, to achieve that, you have to do that. You know what I mean? So like I said, if you're trying to achieve a career, you got to make sure you're doing all the proper steps to get that. It's not just, oh, I'm going to write this down and envision it in my head, and then it's just going to happen because I'm putting it out there. That's not how that works. Being in alignment is more like kind of setting you straight on the right path to achieve that. And in order to achieve that, there are certain steps and goals you need to take, right? That's basically what alignment is. So if you're sitting around and you want this, career in dentistry or whatever, but all you have is a McDonald's education, that's going to kind of be hard for you, right? So then you would have to go to school, and you'd have to do things in order to become in alignment with that decision, with that choice. And the dog is coming out right now. Over here. Down. Stevie, sit. He wants to say hi. This is my friend's dog. This is Stevie. Say hi, Stevie. Say hi. Okay, sit. Anyways. Now, when it comes to witchcraft and achieving these things, there are a lot of things we do different. We incorporate and utilize symbols, elements, nature, altered states of consciousness, spiritual communication with spirits, art, all kinds of otherworldly mediums. When I say medium, I'm not talking about what you see on TV. I'm talking about other ways of spiritual and magical interaction. This is a lot more than what is being portrayed by these manifestors who are now deciding to call themselves witches. They haven't really done the work, in my opinion, to be called a witch. And I don't think anybody ever finishes or completes any kind of learning when it comes to witchcraft and magic. It's a lifelong experience, and it's a lifelong teaching. And I remember a time when magic was obscure. I remember a time before there was smartphones and the internet where you would have to actually go look for knowledge and go seek it out in libraries, at bookstores, or attend groups, and find things out. Back then, and I'm talking about before the smartphone and before YouTube, magic to me was a lot more special. There is a magic within secrecy. There is a magic within, you'll get a lot of people saying, oh, you're gatekeeping. Listen, bitch, if you can't fucking have the talent for it, then you shouldn't be fucking around with it. And another thing is, sometimes when we are practicing witchcraft and we are practicing magic, whether it's witchcraft or ceremonial magic, which are two different things but under the same umbrella, sometimes you open doors, or I shouldn't say sometimes, if you're practicing long enough, you will definitely open doors that you cannot close. Okay? Sometimes magic will kind of fuck with your sense of reality, and that is just a given. And you're going to have to understand that those energies are going to be very uncomfortable. So before you decide that you, under the age, if you're born like after 96 or whatever, and you decide that you're going to be a witch, you better really understand what you are saying, because that is exactly what you will become. And it's not going to be what you see on TikTok, where you're sitting by the window sipping on tea and you have this crystal and you have this bundle of sage and everything is just so whimsical. That's not how it works. And yes, witchcraft can be very dangerous if you're stupid. But sometimes people learn the best by doing stupid things. So I have my tarot cards out here, not because I'm going to do a reading or anything, but I just wanted to make an example of what I've been seeing. Okay? Now, the tarot is a very powerful tool. And when we read the tarot, I mean actually read, like give actual credible readings. It's not us reading the cards. Anybody who can read the cards knows that it's a spirit behind them, talking to them, giving them the information that the cards are giving for you to decipher. But what I'm seeing a lot is people going on live and giving readings, there's nothing wrong with that, because I do it too, but I'm seeing a lot of this. Okay, Haley, okay, look at, a lot of things are going to come for you right now. A lot of things are going to come, and you're going to have a lot of major decisions to make. Okay, let's see who else. Brian, let's take a look. Oh, okay. A lot of things are changing for you, and someone's going to come into your life and give you a decision to make. Like, okay, I get, do you know how fucking vague that is? And unimportant? And how, like, that could apply to anything? But people are latching on, and it's so frustrating. But, stupid goes where stupid goes. When I give a reading, even if it's on live, you have to take the time to be intimately connected with the person in order to give a descriptive reading. Even if it's just a couple cards, you have to be able to give something very, very descriptive, other than just changes are coming. You have a friend coming back from the past. You aren't thinking in alignment with your soul contract. Like, okay, and what else? Like, get more descriptive than that. And I understand, like, not a lot of people can do that. And they're like, well, I'm going based upon my feeling, my intuition. No, you're not. Because if you were, you would take a little bit more time. A little bit more time to really use your intuition. Instead of like busting these cards out. Boom, 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 boom. That is not a reading. Those are affirmations. Those are words of, I guess, grandeur. And sometimes they're negative, you know what I mean? It's not a real reading. All of these people on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube now, they don't want to take the time to do the work in order to become what it is they say they are, or they say they want to be. Witchcraft is a very, very serious thing. It's not an aesthetic that you can pick up at Sephora, bitch. Like, and there are some things that you're going to go through that are going to be pretty dark at times. Even if you talk to Wiccans, I mean like Wiccans from like back in the day, like who were initiated in the late 50s, early 60s, even they'll tell you that, you know what I mean? It's not like, this has become a fad, and it's really sad, really. But I'm hoping, and I was actually talking to my sister about this one time, and we were both hoping that it becomes so much of a fad that real magic has to be hidden again. And then all its obscurity will come back. Because it's so marketed now, it's just stupid. But keep on manifesting, I guess. What do I know, right? So, I don't know. I just wanted to come on and rant, I guess. But thank you for listening. See if I can turn this off now.